uh 720, and I'm back with another video. Give me 1 second here. I'm going to see if this thing here goes live or am I on another channel. I'm trying to do something in two ways. You can see live streaming. Let me see something. Do I got two shows open? Do I got one show open? Sorry, let me see. Alright, okay, just events, streaming now. Oh, wait, no, I mean, okay, I gotta close the other one. You didn't see, edit. Let me see something. Edit. It didn't go through. I thought it would go through like I thought it would, but it didn't. Alright. So let me see this. Hold on 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. Bear with me. Hold on 1 second.
I think we live on
yeah. I got two damn live things open. Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. So let me see this. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. Give me 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. 1 second. Please, I'm sorry. 1 second. I got it, because I got two rooms. I try to do something. Yeah. All right. I'm sorry about that, ladies. Give me 1 second. 1 second. I do apologize. I try to set up for the lobby. I got to do it another way. I figured I got to do it another way. But hold on 1 second. But you know the rules. As you guys come in, hit the like button. We're gonna try to have a entertaining show, to say the least. That's all. I got my good brother Dean here with me. We're gonna talk about what it is and shit. We just did an awesome video about the Navi. We're gonna talk about that. Also, too, they got some new. I won't even say these are rumors. Some patents that came out for Sony regarding the PlayStation 5. We're going to talk about that. But D, what's going on with you, good brother?
Nothing much. Getting the show on the road here. No more babies crying. Everything is good.
Yeah. Everything.
We're 1 day removed from. We're 1 day until we get Red Redemption 2.
So it releases officially tomorrow.
Well, I guess tonight at midnight, right?
Because once Sunday, they already got this shit. They've been rocking out since what's today? Today Thursday, right? Yeah, today Thursday. I'm not mistaken. They got it Saturday or either Sunday. They got it for the PlayStation 4.
Yeah, well, yeah. If you have like anyone that has a mom or pop store,
yeah, exactly what they do. I got it hooked up with a code digitally, so with all the bells and whistles. So I didn't, that's the way I got it.
Well, I don't got it like that. Nobody ever gives me shit. I don't get no code, so I had to pre-order that game. So I won't get it. Fortunately, I won't. Friday.
Well, your mic is going in and out. Let me see if I could cut you up on the Discord.
Can you hear me now?
Well, I don't know if that's me or you. Hold on. Say something again.
Yo, can you hear me?
Say it one more time.
Can you hear me?
Okay, there you go. You said loud.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those that digitally pre-ordered it, though, obviously get it at. Bunch of happy gamers gonna be doing an all-nighter.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I guess. It's 12 o'clock midnight.
What do you say?
12 o'clock midnight.
Yeah, 12 o'clock midnight. And I don't want to talk too much about on this podcast. This podcast is for a different topic. But I did do a story on Digital Foundry. They did an analysis today, and right after this show is off the air, I'm gonna post it on my channel. I'm gonna make it go live. So right after this show, you guys can watch that video. It's a pretty well done video, and spoiler alert: the X is the best place to play.
Okay. Like I said, as the room is filling up, and because I'm not gonna you babies, I'm not gonna have you here too long. If I'm not mistaken, we're not mistaken. It hasn't been announced for the PC yet, right?
No, if we're gonna base it off of GT, I don't think we'll see it on the 6 months to a year down the road if we see it on PC, because the original game never.
Okay. We'll see one event's one. Okay.
Actually, no, I'm lying. It is I'm lying. It is on the PC at 0 resolution with 0 frames per second.
You're being messy. They ain't gonna like you for that. They're not gonna like you. You're being real messy. Like I said, I see. That's what the shitstorm is going on about Twitter about one being in. Is the X? Well, listen, to be honest, is the Xbox One version? I say that much better, or
it's that much better. And I don't want to give too much away. I want everyone to watch the video after we do the show, but it is better.
Now, listen. I would hate to question your integrity. I'm being honest with you. A 40-year-old man such as myself, with failing eyesight, I really don't be seeing the big deal. You know what I mean? Like I told you, I couldn't tell the difference between native 1080p to upscale 1080p. It ain't that big of a deal for me. But what I'm hearing, everybody is, up in arms. They're calling Rockstar lazy.
No, I don't think Rockstar is lazy. Let's be honest. When this situation was reversed and the PlayStation 4 had more powerful hardware than the regular Xbox One, they took advantage of it. Hence, Grassgate, and it pumped out more consistent frame rate on the PlayStation 4. It had more blades of grass. It was a higher resolution on the PlayStation 4 because it had better hardware. Rockstar is the type of developer that if you have better hardware on your system, they're going to take advantage of that system's capabilities to the maximum. Rockstar is that type of developers. That's who they are. So for people to say, "Oh, they're being lazy," no, they're not being lazy. Listen, the Xbox One X is 40% more powerful than the PS4 Pro. So when you have a company like Rockstar, where they like to take advantage of the system, you can't expect the systems to be on par. They're not going to be on par. The PlayStation 4 Pro is not capable of doing what the Xbox One X can do, because if it was, then they would have done it. There's a big deficit on the on the resolution. And once again, Digital Foundry did a great video, and I have a follow-up video, after this show. You guys check that out. And it's after you watch both my video, their video, it's quite obvious which system is better. And it's just you can see it. It's plain as day.
All right, okay. Now, so you are getting it midnight launch, whatever. You're getting on the Xbox One X, right?
Definitely. I pre-ordered it for the Xbox One X because I knew the type of developers that Rockstar is, and I knew that it would look better on the X, so it was just a no-brainer for me.
Okay, all right. I'm going to say this right before, because we're going to talk about this PlayStation 5. I'm giving the room a chance to fill up. I see also the backlash and the criticism on Twitter saying that Xbox guys are treating this like an exclusive. You know what I mean? Because they got the win. You know what I mean? Or and then the Xbox guys say how much Sony spent for the marketing rights, and this shit runs and looks best. Like this is this shit. How you say, this is beyond Z right now on Twitter. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But overall, but they did say the Xbox, the standard Xbox version of the game looks like shit though.
It does. The standard version is not up to snuff. The regular vanilla PlayStation version, although of course it's not as the X version, is still really good, especially compared to that version. But like I said, after the show, go watch that video. I go into detail. You guys can get all the details on that. But you know what? The Xbox guys, to be honest with you, there's been very few wins. So whatever win we can get, we're going to take it. So a win is a win, and it looks better, runs better on the X, and that's that.
All right. As you guys are coming in, like I said again, please hit the like. But I'm sorry about the discrepancy, me having two rooms up. I'm trying to find how to delete the other room, but I was trying to have you guys have a lobby for me not just go live, but I figured out how to do it. I have it right the next go around. Now, with that being said, like I said, rumors are heating up. Leaks are coming out. I don't even say more or less leaks, or people are starting to pay attention to certain patents that whether either Microsoft or Sony are filing. I remember it was in 2012. Yeah, it was in 2012. I started doing YouTube. Not really doing YouTube. I started paying attention to what was going on. Hey, I didn't know. I found this whole quote unquote gaming community, and it was some of the patents that Sony had that more or less, I won't even say got leaked. Something they filed for patent as far as restricting used games on the PlayStation or whatever was going to come out. I didn't see what console. They filled the patent for it, right? And we all know the backlash, whatever case that Microsoft got for the used games. Sony was going to do the same thing because they also go take even when what's in small writing there. Jack Tritton said we have something in place of third party. Maya, turn that down, please. We have something in place with third party wants to restrict used games, but we're not going to with our first. But that's what he came up. That was them being the knight in shining armor. So our first party titles, this is how we trade our games. But if third party, if Ubisoft wants to and with DRM on their games, you know what I mean, we have something in place for them. So we started to get little leaks and just the stuff that's started to come out. Sony just recently, or I won't say filed the patent. Well, patent became public. You know what I mean? That as far as the VR. Hold on one second. My man. Not sure how that's a win-win. Majority has the OGS. Hey, listen, Overdone, don't start, man. The show just started. Overdone, don't start your shit, right? They just filed a patent as far as the what patent became public, whatever, as far as the VR. Now I know you have been a big component for VR. I have still yet to try. My man at Ray Little Means, right? You might want to hook your brother with a VR. I stream it and anything. I ain't got it. I gave my VR. So look, listen, the good brother, the good Christian I am. I gave my VR money to Post, supposed to get him a PS4 Pro, right? You've been jumping up and down about far as VR. And I know. And here's the thing. To be fair, D, you are a tech. I thought I was a tech guy, right? You take it above and beyond. I mean, I told you before how I used to buy my TVs, D, till I met you. I would buy my TV according to the bezel. How would the TV look? You know what I mean? Not really going with more or less the specs was inside. That's normally how I will buy my TV. And I always bought, this is not new. I will always buy a brand new TV every year. You know what I mean? Or every year and a half. Like this, you guys have been rocking on my channel. You guys know it's the fucking truth. Now, with that being said, but it was you, again, that sort of made me school dealer, especially dealer. I'm dealing with that big ass, you mad at me for this, but that big ass TV from Walmart with no HDR. But shout out the dealer, right? But you know, I learned the techie stuff, but as far as the 80, what it means from you with the 10-bit panels, this, that, and the other. I got all that shit from you. Now again, you've been a big proponent, like I said, of VR. Now with these new patents that was made public or whatever case from Sony, this is supposed to be baked into the console. Now, we heard this before as VR. Are they taking it to another level, or is it going to be better? Like, talk to me.
Yeah, so it looks like they're both. It's going to be better, and they're taking it to another level. So the patents, like, it's kind of hard to understand everything that they're trying to do because it's just the patents. But apparently, it's going to be some bracelets. So you're going to have 2 bracelets to put on your wrist, and inside of these bracelets, there's cameras that actually capture the movement of your finger. So you're basically not going to have any wand. They're going to get rid of the PSVR camera. They're going to get rid of the dildo glow sticks. And you're basically just going to have these bracelets that have cameras inside that can detect the movement of your hands. So basically, you're going to be hands as a controller. And of course, we know the VR is going to be a higher resolution. I would hope they would put something like HDR into the VR.
But the new one has HDR, doesn't the new one allow HDR?
No, the new one lets you pass through HDR. So on the old system, you couldn't pass through HDR on your TV screen when you were playing VR. The new one simply allows you to pass it through, so you don't have to plug out your VR in order to enjoy HDR. So that's the only difference. But the lenses itself don't do HDR.
Oh, here's the thing: does the Oculus Rift, or I don't know if you played the Vive, do they allow HDR?
No, none of the current VR headsets that I know of, and I have pretty much all of them except for, and I've played all of them, but I own pretty much all of them except for HTC Vive. They don't allow.
Now, is that because of a tech thing as far as latency, or?
I don't know how much latency are really gonna add. I think it's more to do with the screens that are in the VR headset. I just think they're just not HDR capable displays. I don't know if it's an oversight, it's just something they don't care about, something they never looked into. But in theory, there's no reason why they couldn't put HDR into these headsets. It would, make I don't know if, because it's right against your eyes, if it'd be too sensitive for your eyes if they had HDR. So I don't know the reason why they don't include it, but it could be included.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So you tell me more or less this one. And now, again, we heard that they were baking, he say VR into the console. Now this is Sony again doubling down on VR. Now, and
I think hold on a second. I think it's a good bet, to be honest with you. Like, out of all the companies, PlayStation has the biggest footing in the VR space. Mm-hmm. Oculus, HTC Vive, although they are better headsets, they don't have the install base.
Well, I think with pricing had a lot to do with it.
Yeah, the pricing is just too high. Now, if they're going all in next generation, I'm going to assume that they're going to lower the price on it. And I'm also going to assume that the tech is going to be a huge advancement over what we're previously getting. Because VR, it is just freaking awesome. And we know, maybe, I don't know, about a month ago, I did a story on AMD discussing both the PlayStation 5 and the next Xbox, saying that both of these companies are using their own secret sauce. This could be one of the secret sauces that they're using. They could be banking completely on VR, giving us a mind-blowing VR experience that could change gaming forever. And to be honest with you, if any company can do it, to be honest, I think Sony can do.
Oh, okay. Now, again, I know not what some man named Jay Kratos, a few other guys that play. What's this game called? Bots or something for PlayStation VR, and they
Oh yeah, the bots. Yeah.
they said, you know what I mean, contention. They say for game of the year. Like I said, I have yet to try VR literally, so I don't know much about it. But being that Sony, I said, doubling down on this, right, for more or less for the PlayStation 5, and I guess some form or some assets or whatever the case is of the VR is going to be baked into the console. Here's an honest question: do you think more or less that will raise the price? Here's the thing: raise the price of the console. I'm predicting, like I said, $500. And will Sony make the same mistake that Nintendo and Microsoft made with sacrificing the specs of your console to maybe include a peripheral or whatever the case that may or may not catch on? You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah, I don't think so completely, because the VR aspect that they would add to the console would have to actually make the console more powerful, because it would have to display a certain amount of frames. It would have to have a certain type of graphic fidelity. I don't really think it would hurt the system. I think it might be an advantage to the system, because they're going to want to have a pretty powerful GPU inside that system, a pretty powerful CPU. So
okay,
you got PC rigs right now that are all pretty much capable of doing VR, and it doesn't hinder them.
Wait a minute. So they say baked into the console. So I'm thinking about something else. I mean, I don't know what it takes to run PlayStation VR, but some components, whatever the case, for us to maybe to track your fingers or brace, whatever the fuck they talking about. They talking about that. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about it being for your GPU and CPU. They talking about that stuff becoming standard inside each box.
I don't think it will detract from the power of the system. However, it could impact the price. It could.
Yeah, well, again, like I said, at a minimum, I'm saying at least $500, right? Now, again, this is business, and Sony wants to make money. This is one again why I had to, it brings a few bells with me, alarms with me, because again, I don't see them taking a huge hit on the hardware before selling it to lows. Because even with the PS4, if I'm not mistaken, this is the only in the first generation that both Microsoft and Sony came out and sold their consoles at a profit. You know what I mean? Normally, they take a hit on the hardware until shit becomes cheaper, and they make their money from software sales. But both the Xbox and the PS4 came out more or less. I think Sony made like $20 or $8, whatever. I forget about the video, but anyway, they both were sold at a profit. You know what I mean? Yeah. Now we talking about again something that some people can't use VR. Some people got motion sickness. Some people hate it. And you talk about again something being baked in. And I'm cool. I'm all about it. I have yet to try VR, but there's gonna be a big, people out there that's not gonna buy it. And that's gonna be bothered with it. You know what I mean? You want to say something?
No, they can have two different SKUs. Maybe have one SKU that implements this VR tech in 5, and one SKU that doesn't.
And my man, this is Lord said. He said, "Keep it out the box, sell it separately." Now, again, here's the thing. I think I look at it like the yin and the yang, the gift and the curse. If Sony wants a mass adoption rate for people to, for developers, it's the most important thing. For developers to get behind VR, they have to look, or whatever, was the Kinect or anything, they look at the install base. You know what I mean? And right now, I don't know who makes bots. Is that a first party game from Sony?
I think.
Whatever the case may be. So for developers to come out there and fully support it, and not saying that it's bad, again, a quality, say the Ubisofts or the Activision, they're going to look at the install base. And if I'm not mistaken, I forgot the name of the game that Crytek made for the PlayStation VR. If they wasn't bankrupt by now, they knocked them off the kills. Like, beep! You know what I mean? You know what I mean? They might be out swimming with the fish right now. And Sony, like I said, maybe taking a chance or a gamble in here. So you know what? For this thing to make to be a wide or a mass success, right? They need, or developers need to make sure that you got a VR and look with the Kinect, right? Remember, when Microsoft doubled down, put the Kinect back in the box, and for developers to support it, but Microsoft didn't even support the goddamn Kinect itself at launch. So I liked all the features. You can check your heart monitor, all that slick shit, cool. Motion gaming is done. You know what I mean? And it's again, if you think Sony's making the same particular, many people talking about VR right now, just like people were talking about motion gaming with the Wii, the Move or the Kinect. By the next time the next generation got here, no one's talking about that shit anymore. Do you think VR is going to go away? You know what I mean? Games are very fickle.
I think VR is the future. The problem with VR is the price. It's simply there's two problems. One, the price. It's pretty high. Aside from the PlayStation, on PC, you need a lot of money because you got to get the VR headset. You have to have a really capable PC, and it costs a lot of money. You're looking at thousands of dollars for like a complete system, right? On the PlayStation, it's a little bit cheaper, but on the PlayStation, it's not the best VR experience. It's good. I'm not saying it's bad, but it's not the best VR experience you get. Another thing that's stopping it is a lot of people don't like to wear things on their heads. So the PSVR is not really that heavy, to be honest with you, but you are tethered to it. It's wired. So when they can come and bring some VR headset that's wireless, that's very light, and that's cheap enough that the average consumer can afford it, that's when it's going to take off. Because honestly, tell you, if out of 10 people, I'll just give you an example. Out of 10 people that I've let try VR, 9 of them like it. One likes it but can't tolerate it because it just makes them sick. But out of 10 of them, 9 of them like them, and it's a game-changing experience.
I heard. I heard.
It's just you're just freaking in the world, and I don't want to get my family-friendly show at times, so I don't want to get all into it. But there's a lot of other things you can do with VR.
Oh yeah, as far as I trust me, I get it. Pornhub, I'm there with you, right? Now, this is something I've always said, because first, initially, Crap's so fucking phony. When they first announced VR, it's my dude, though. Crap piece of shit. Listen, I think Crap gets what because he got the complexion for the direct connection. Y'all talking about my integrity being always encouraged. Crap said he tried that shit in VR, was it Best Body, was sick for 15 days. Now he lives, now VR is the best thing since sliced bread, right? Crap full of shit. I was hyped and I was stoked for VR. Listen, we're going to make the show about VR. We got some other stuff we're going to talk about. When Sony first was rumored to come out, right? I thought that any game that I would play, it would actually put me in the game. So if I'm playing God of War, I looked at my arms and I'm Kratos. Like, that's what I thought it was. You know what I mean? When they first announced it, you know what I mean? Or any game that I play, it puts me inside the game. The same thing I said, I wish Microsoft would probably release the Illumi Room. That shit would have blew my mind. I'd had Gears of War all around this motherfucker. I'm already crazy as hell. And come in! I can see Ray jumping around in the front room and shit, diving and shit, right? So, like I said, as far as that, so, and then, I saw, that it wasn't, as far as graphically, I heard the games look like PS3 games, and I just never get it. But I also said, I think the big turnoff for the VR is the pricing. At the time, it was $400, which cost more than the actual console, and they didn't have any, must-have software. The reason why the Kinect sold so well, it was $150, but they had things that, quote unquote, the casuals can adapt to, the Just Dances or the Kinect Sports or whatever the case, which were huge, and highly successful for them. They didn't get that must-have, VR game that the casuals that can gravitate to. And I thought maybe that VR would have a shining light where maybe the indie developers will get on board and they get their Candy Crush, whatever fuck the case type game for, I'm saying for something, the casuals, whether I like it or not. But the reason why you look at the most successful game selling for the Kinect, and I think if I'm not mistaken, it broke all types of records. Guinness Book of the most successful was device or accessory sold of all time, whatever the fuck record it broke. But you look at the top selling games, 30-40 million with Kinect Sports and Just Dance and Dance Central and the shit that the casuals that can gravitate to, and Sony didn't have that at the time with the VR. And again, we was talking about the time $400. Then you had to get the camera, the move stuff. Like, it was just too much. Now, right now, it's $200. You know what I mean? And if I can find one, if I get the money, I get ahead and I will get one. Now, yeah.
Some of the problems with VR, like there's just like a lot of shovelware out there. To be honest, there's a lot of shovelware titles. There's some really good titles too. But I know what you're saying. You wish that every game, you're like inside the game. I don't think it could work in every single game like that. There's some games, like I'll give you an example. Say Splinter Cell, for example. I wouldn't want to be like in Sam Fisher.
Why?
I just don't think it would translate as good as that, because I would lose a little bit of graphic fidelity in that type of game. Instead, I would like to play in VR, but
okay, look,
the glasses are like the camera.
Okay,
you understand? So you're watching it from top down view or the regular view that we play it with, but everything is in 3D now because you're in VR. So everything is popping at you. You see the bullets flying by.
Bro, listen,
character. Like, for example, Super Lucky Tales, as shit as that game is, in VR, just looking at it in 3D.
Cut his goddamn mic off. I'm sorry.
It's fantastic. The game sucks. But I'm just talking the 3D element of the game is amazing.
They got a question for you. Like I said, my man Fab, shout out to my man Fab 6. He said, "Yo Z, Resident Evil 7. Have you tried that in VR? That's the game I told me to get."
That game, honestly, to tell you, and let me tell you, man, I've seen bullets whiz by my head. I've been through a whole lot of experiences in my life. Let me tell you, that game, I couldn't play it for long, man. It scared the shit out of me, man.
I gotta get it, man. It was horrible. I'm about to start this GoFundMe page, man. I gave up me being I believe in Jesus Christ now. I gave my money to post it, what you call it, goddamn PlayStation 4 Pro. What the Lord said, man, a rich man a camel has a better chance fitting through the eye of a needle than a rich man into the gates of heaven. Now, with that being said, so I didn't get it, so I like everybody to have fun. Maybe I might get it for Christmas, I don't know. But everyone says the game to try and again, I'm scary as hell anyway.
It's
and I got PTSD.
It's like, yo,
yeah, I'm like, I gotta try, at least try it and stream and live stream it while I'm doing it, right? But again, like I said, I guess maybe, like I said, if this is the case, because they will be taking a chance, and I want to cover the other stuff. They will be taking a chance, I'm saying, because again, I don't expect them either. The PS5 is not going to be as powerful as it should be or would be, because they got to offset the cost somewhere. Same thing with Microsoft with the Kinect inside the original the console that came out in 2013. They sacrificed the specs of the console to include a peripheral. Now they're talking about, again, this stuff here being coming day and date or standard in each box or each console. They're gonna have to offset the price somewhere. What I mean?
But are they saying that the next console is going to come with the VR, or it's just going to have a VR component inside the hardware itself?
Well, the component inside the hardware.
Well,
I'm quite sure you're still gonna buy a headset, but let's say here, Sony. Let me share my screen. Actually, let me bring this up here. I can share it with the audience. Hold up, bro.
I want to say this real quick though. This could be something because we're hearing all these rumors. I know we're going to touch the Navi a little bit later on. We're hearing rumors that it's going to be Navi that's inside of it. Maybe this is part of the Navi.
Yo, what's good, people?
Oh, this nigga here showing a black man time. But he believe me.
Man, you're like an hour late, man. Cut his mic.
Yeah, right.
Yo, this dude.
We was waiting on you.
This dude always tell me 10 minutes late.
Nah,
I'm 30 minutes late.
Hey, bro, I've been here, bro. I've been here. Hold on one second. Yeah, I've been
that be Z, man. When Z tell me a time, if Z tell me 10 minutes, I know it's 30.
Hey, yo.
If he tell me 30, I know it's an hour and 15 or more.
Hey, bro.
He told me 30. I bet it took about an extra 30 more before he got on, because I know.
I was waiting for you. I was on time, bro. I've been here.
Z was ready all day. I can't lie. I delayed it twice, so Z been ready.
I'm waiting on you.
Well, my bad.
Hey, Paul, you gotta give me a number again, bro. Text me. I got the same. Text me. I got a new phone. And I ain't got your number anymore.
Okay.
All right. But it says Sony. I got the thing. I'm make sure they can see it on the show. Make sure they can see it. I hope they can see it. What's the show right
here? The VR tech. Yeah, okay. I was looking at that. Okay. Sounds pretty dope.
So hold on. I gotta sneeze.
Bless ya. Yeah. What kind of sneeze was that?
To do the same.
My allergies bugging me right now. It says here, Sony patents PlayStation VR 2 tech with rotating camera, brings motion tracking to bracelets. Okay, Sony's working on the PS5 as a week, but PS5 isn't the only thing currently in development. It seems that PlayStation VR has been a huge success for Sony, and it looks like Sony plans to continue VR gaming with the PlayStation 5. Sony Interactive Entertainment has filed a patent for what looks like PlayStation VR 2. The device will feature the ability to track positions of your fingers to create new experiences without the controller. This is not the one. Let me go to the other one because they were talking about patent. Is this one talking about built within the console? Hold on, let me go to the other one. No, it's not it. Let me go to this one. Make this a little bigger here. Let's find the other one. Oh, okay. All right. You know what I mean? But anyway, they talking about. I'm sorry, we're posted in here now. Well, I can ask post, right? While you're just joining, and that rumors are coming out that the PlayStation 5 supposed to come They said VR is something supposed to be baked in within the console, right? And I asked, I was asking D, will Sony be making the same mistake that Nintendo did with the Wii U? Sacrificing the specs of the console to include a peripheral that may or may not catch on with the Wii U tablet. And Microsoft did the same thing in 2013 by releasing the Xbox One with the Kinect, sacrificing the specs of the console to include a peripheral that didn't catch on with the masses. Now they talk about rumor, allegedly, that the PlayStation 5 is going to come baked, with some type of VR component in standard in each console. Now they're going to have to offset the price again somewhere. So either they're going to sacrifice the specs and not be as powerful as it could be, or the cross is going to be more expensive. You know what I mean? I don't see the console again costing more than $500. But to be fair, look, you know what I mean? From a consumer standpoint, if the Pro is already let's say 4T, I'm only doing that 4.12. I expect the PS5 at a minimum to be anywhere between 8 to 10 T-flops. Double the power of the Pro. You know what I mean? But again, I mean, they, we're talking about again. But this is a business, and if I'm not mistaken, if I speak wrong, I stand corrected. That the PS4 and the Xbox One was the only console that they released from Microsoft, so they were solely to profit from the beginning. They didn't really take a hit on the hard way. You know what I mean? Because they were so far, they were outdated. It is what it is. Especially with those Puma, they jumped out the window with them Puma, it was a Jaguar cores. You know what I mean? So your opinion, like it's so much stuff being. It said PS5 feature built-in VR text player movement with extended range. I don't know if this is the article, but anyway, it was another one, but I can't find. But they were talking about this shit packed, baked within the console. Do you think Sony's going to take a hit on the price? They're going to, or will they be making a mistake?
No, I think this is less about kind of sacrificing the specs of the system and just more so about making sure that this a time around that the system is capable of running high quality games and supporting VR at the same time, meaning that you're not going to need a second box or anything like that came with the PSVR in order to support the device. Out of the box is going to support VR and HDR with the peripheral. The feature I was talking about with the peripheral is nothing but more than some features that they took from the Kinect and just put it around the wrist object that they're patenting. Basically some gyroscopes and some cameras that can kind of tell the movement of your hand and fingers and things like that. So I just think it's more so about the system being capable of supporting VR out of the box, and not so much of needing to sacrifice the specs in order to do that, but just making sure it's powerful enough to do both.
Okay, but so I mean, they got to offset the price somewhere. Well, I look like this. Like I said, for this thing, I told D, I said for this thing to be hugely successful, and I know D is a big fan of the VR. Third party has to adapt it, and they look at the install base. Now, if every PlayStation 5 from the rip comes bundled with the with the shit that what I mean. So of course, I guess the Ubisoft, the Activision, whoever won't have a problem going out and supporting it. A lot of people, are, a little worried. A lot of companies may be a little weary. I'm sorry, going out and developing, spending millions of dollars or whatever the case may be to make a game and only a fraction of the people. You know what I mean?
I mean, if you look at even with the X. With the new PS5, they're going to support the new HDMI, which does have technology there for dual display. So I don't know if it's necessary if they need to go with like multiple HDMIs or instead of that then one HDMI. But I know the new HDMI supports multiple displays. So the only way I can see it depends on what they're trying to accomplish VR wise. I haven't played the VR game this year or the peripheral. I don't want to speak too much. I was going to kind of lean on D in terms of what he think they're going to try to do in terms of headset wise, as far as the display and how wide it's going to be, how much of the screen they're going to see, and how would that affect what they do as far as the hardware on the system.
Here's a question, right, D? Now, when it came to VR headsets this generation, right, or whatever. Vive was the most powerful. Then it came the Oculus Rift, and then more or less popular ones that we know. Then maybe we say the PlayStation VR or whatever, right? Vive was more powerful than the Oculus Rift. Do you expect for Sony's PSVR 2 to be at least as powerful as the Oculus Rift?
Yeah, I would think so, because those headsets are pretty much pushing 1440p, right? So they're pushing 1440p. Let's be honest, the next console should be able to push 1440p.
So what's the minimum requirement for on specs on the PC, for us, GPU wise, or how you say T-flops?
Well, they say pretty much you gotta have like an RX 580 is the minimum.
That's not
the optimal performance, but the minimum is.
So how many what's that for as T-flops? I'm talking about T-flops here.
RX is what, 4 something 5 T-flops. I can't remember offhand.
Okay, I give me on the NVIDIA side of things. I'm on the NVIDIA side of things.
Well, a 1070 is like 6 T-flops, something like that. A 1080 Ti is like 9 T-flops.
I thought the Ti was like 11, wasn't it?
Or maybe it's 11 once you overclock it. Something like, I don't know. I don't have it all in front of me right now.
Okay.
But basically, the Xbox One X right now, it could handle an Oculus. It would be able to do the Oculus with graphic fidelity pretty well.
Even with that shitty fucking Jaguar cores.
Yeah, see, now that's the thing with the Jaguar cores. You'd probably be stuck around 60 frames, 60 to 70 frames per second. Yeah. And I think that's probably why we haven't really seen VR support on the X, because they know it's just barely meeting the specs for it. And if they're going to do it, they're going to want to do it properly. So I don't think we're going to see VR till the next gen consoles, to be honest with you, from Microsoft at least, because the PlayStation VR experience, it's good, but in order for them to get the high frame rates, they have to dumb down the graphics, right? And then they had to come up with another console too, the PS4 Pro, which made things a lot better in the VR space. But still, the graphic fidelity is nowhere compared to what the PC is doing.
Okay, so
but Phil said that. But Phil said he wanted to. He felt as though the tech wasn't fully there yet, and that when he wanted to do it, he didn't want to have customers deal with all those wires. He's basically saying he wanted to be more so a wireless peripheral. And so I guess that's why they kind of fell back on it. But I do still think they have a prototype or something ready for the console the console to go, because you're not doing that much research in AR and VR for nothing.
Okay. All right. Well, moving right along. Now, D, you put out an amazing video yesterday. I'll leave it in the chat. Navi GPU tested performance greater than expected. Plus a new GTX 1060 launch. Now, from rumor has it, this says that Sony posted. I don't know if they're funding the Navi or patenting the Navi or what's going on.
So okay, just want to answer your previous question. The RX 580, it has 6.2 teraflops once you overclock it, max performance.
Okay.
So the Navi GPU is rumored to be going to PlayStation 4. So I don't think that they I don't know if they have exclusive right. They don't have exclusive right to the Navi architecture. I think if anything, they have exclusive right to it in a console or some form of it, their own little spin on it in a console.
A custom version.
Yeah, custom. Because apparently when they were making the Vega GPU, Sony pretty much raided AMD's engineers and they started to develop Navi for the PlayStation 5. And all the reports that we're getting on PlayStation 5 Navi GPU is that basically it's going to be targeting 1080 GTX 1080 performance. So that's basically 4K 60. I would say mostly high settings, high with some customization. On a console, of course, you can tweak things a little bit better and get a little bit more out of it. But you're looking at basically 4K 60 if the rumors are true. But there's going to be different. There's going to be different Navi GPUs. There's going to be a mid-range Navi, and there's going to be the high-end Navi. Now, the high-end Navi obviously is going to come to PC, and I'm hearing that the high-end Navi is going to come like 6, 7, 8 months after the mid-range Navi, which is coming the second half of 2019, which is next year, which would put it on track for the PlayStation 5 to launch next year. Because if they're coming out with the mid-range line for the PC next year, there's no reason why they wouldn't have an APU ready as well. So
yeah, in situations like that, you kind of, if Sony was to go with that mid-range Navi, they would include some of the text from the higher range and kind of, mix it together for the console. I know they usually do that. They try to take technologies from this gen and next gen.
Well, the higher range, I think the higher range is going to have the same technology. To be honest,
the same technology. Okay,
I think it's just going to have more stream processors. And the thing with Navi is they're going to be departing from the GCN architecture. I think it's going to still be a little bit a part of it, but they're going to have new compute methods, right? So they're going to do the calculations much different on Navi than what traditionally do. So it's going to be a departure from that architecture, and that's where we're going to get the performance increase. Because basically, if you were to take Vega right now, and Vega is okay. The problem with Vega was that it was power hungry, and it was expensive because it had HBM2, and at best it matched or slightly beat a GTX 1080. And that really wasn't what gamers were looking for. They wanted greater performance. Now, if you were in
low power consumption,
if you were in theory just to bring that Vega down to 7 nanometer, which is coming next year, that Vega on the old architecture, in my estimation, would probably give you GTX 1080 Ti performance. Now, if they're coming out with this Navi, well, they are coming out with this Navi architecture that's also going to be a 7 nanometer that has different instructions for compute. I think the performance is going to be pretty great, even for mid-range, much less the higher end. So I think, if the rumors are right, they're targeting the GTX 1080 performance for a $250 price range on the PC. So for console, of course, they're going to get that a little bit cheaper to put in their system. They're targeting 4K with GTX 1080, basically does 4K 60 with some tweaks. You can get 4K 60.
Hold on 1 second. Let me pay the bills. And my man Top Dog. You can see it posted now.
Yeah. Shout out to Top Dog with the $10 holla. He said, "I'm tired of pancake games. We need some real next level revolutionary games. They're playing pancake games from over 30 years now. Ray tracing is not good enough. I need VR."
That's not gonna. Unfortunately, the VR, like I've said a zillion times, and I hate talking about it because it's just something you gotta experience, like a baddie. You know what I'm saying? You can't talk about a baddie. You just gotta experience a baddie. You know what I'm saying? And VR is just like that. You have to experience. It is game changing. It is that experience when you play. You're like, oh man, this is so much better than what I've been playing for years. And I hope it becomes affordable where everyone can play it. Also, too, the next generation of graphics, they need to get away from this rasterization method that they use now. The ray tracing is a step in the right direction. Ultimately, you want to do everything in real-time ray tracing, which you need to do path tracing.
Well, you said well, consoles holding PC back. I don't think that's going to be you may say some elements of it, but I don't think the PS5 or the Xbox is going to be doing full ray tracing.
No, nothing. Even the RTX line, like, I hate to break it to people, it's not doing full ray tracing. It's doing ray tracing, but there's still rasterization in there. Like, it's just ray tracing certain elements, not ray tracing everything.
Real time ray tracing takes a lot of hardware.
Now, this is. I know we're talking about the Navi architecture, but I just want to go a little bit onto the Xbox side. This is where the Xbox could shine. Now, we know that they have all of these servers up in Azure. So they got heavy compute up there. In theory, they could use all of their servers up there, all of their GPUs, all of their CPUs up in the cloud to compute the calculations of ray tracing and send it down to the next Xbox console. In theory, it's possible. If they were able to achieve something like that, that would give us the leap. That would give us the leap that everybody's looking. It's a possibility, because remember before, I remember one of the shows we did earlier in the week or last week, you were talking about this, where Microsoft said before, oh yeah, every Xbox is going to have the power of 6 Xbox in the cloud, and they backed off of that completely. Now, I don't think they abandoned that. I just think the market wasn't ready for it. Consumers weren't ready for that. And I think this generation now, I think that consumers are ready for it. Just like Z, we were talking off of the air a couple of days ago about Project is it Project Stream from Google?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I applied for it. I got accepted the next day actually.
Okay. So, well, yeah. Hey, bro. I get some first thing. So they're asking for your gamer tag and what do you call Steam ID in the chat there. I guess people befriend you or something. D. I got so much backlash from that from everybody. Everybody again. I'm always getting cursed out, right? And I don't think they really understand. Let me say this again. I got to keep explaining myself, right? I'm gonna say something. Here's my disclaimer, right? Microsoft is sort of giving me foods. They give me sleep. I love my traditional console. I was just talking to Post, like, I'm about to get another rig, right? You about to come with a PC game. I was just talking to people. I said, nah, that's just for video editing. And I'm
just messing with you,
no,
bro.
I'm just saying. No, I'm a console dude, bro. Like, I can game right now.
And D gonna get you over.
Hey, bro, nah, bro, fuck all that, bro. Listen, I have a very capable goddamn console. I mean, PC now that I can game on. 32 gigs RAM and all that shit, right? i7. But I played Killer Instinct and what do you call it, Gears of War on my PC, and I have a Steam account. I'll probably give my Steam account away. I got a few games and give somebody who can use it. I'm not using the shit. I don't like launching games from the desktop. Sometimes they crash. I just like, again, sit down, plug and play. And I understand that term comes from PC, sit down and plug and play. I just enjoy the simplicity of consoles. That's all. You know what I mean? And I know maybe things have gotten better with Steam. But when I first got my first rig back in 2012, there's a video on my channel. I mean, out unboxing that big ass dumbass PC, right? And I paid about maybe about $3,500 for that rig there. I had one Titan in it, right? And at the time I had the top of the line specs for whatever you can get back in I think it was 2012. Make a long story short, and I bought. Now you got them Steam summer sales or this, that, and the other. So it was one of those summer sales came or spring sale before I got the actual rig, and I bought Dirt 3 or whatever the fuck it was. So but I seen people playing it on what do you call it, on YouTube, and like, this shit looking crazy, looking amazing. And I went to boot the game up and it kept giving me a blue screen of death. And at the time, I don't know if things may have changed, but it's really, like I say, turned me off. Steam didn't have a phone number. Like, if you got a game from the Xbox or PlayStation, well, no, especially the Xbox, customer service, hey, this shit ain't working. Boom. I had to send an email in to them. Then I got replied back to them 3 days later. But then I went looking around Googling. I had to go to some Russian site and extract some file and then pack. Man, I got all that shit, bro. You know what I mean? They stayed out. May have changed, but their customer service in 2012 was fucking horrible. Now, and with me, I would just play my PC. I would plug it into my TV, put it in big picture mode. That's what it was called back then, and have at it. And I guess it more or less worked like Xbox Live. But to me, and things may have changed. Also, with the controller, a lot of games I was playing, like Hawk and what's that, Warframe and stuff, the controller felt like an afterthought, and it just felt real loose. Just that. Then I tried, everybody tried I think Black Ops 3 at the time. I was getting my, like, fuck that. Put me in an even playing field, and this was, like I said, PC again. I know it was just for rendering videos and better production. That's all. Hold on, I see someone going off in the chat. Hold on, we got my man Harry's. You see him, Harry Halim? I'm on two different screens. You see it, Post? No, you don't. Hold on. Okay. Hold on, I gotta see it. My man Gamer M. We say, yo Z, this nigga D still selling that fuck nigga in the cloud, fuck shit in the cloud. And my man Harry Halim, I believe that's Harry Halim. He changed the name to Harry Heck. He had some warrants. He had 2 child support warrants. He had to come back with a new identity. Shout out to my man Harry Heck. The how you say my man that be in the chat, formerly known as Harry Halim. PlayStation VR 2 could work through light optical cables, then have heavy HDMI cables, and PS5 could have a smart VR slot for the following PS2 VR memory boost model. You know what I mean? Let me read this again. He said PlayStation VR 2 could work through optical port cables, then have heavy HDMI cables. We're talking about to the back of the TV. And PS5 could have a smart VR slot for the following PlayStation VR 2 and the memory boost model.
You're talking about the optical cables.
Instead of having, I'm not mistaken. I guess
I'm trying to see
because you said something about a dual HDMI slot that they can plug the.
I wouldn't use them optical cables like that because optical cables they're fiber and they're glass and they're very thin, and if you twist them or bend them the wrong way, you break the glass in the cable and the signal degrades and you lose. I don't think so about the optical cable. But go ahead, D.
I think they're going to use it just like they're doing it on PC. On those GPUs, they have the USB Type C out there, and then they use that as an output, right, for your VR headset. It'll probably be something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, well.
Yeah, because everybody's like going USB-C now.
USB, everything's USB-C. You know what I mean? USB 3.1, USB-C. So, like what we were talking about, you said as far as Microsoft, maybe can match Sony or whatever the case in the cloud or stuff. Sounds cool. And I'm sorry, this is what I was giving my guys a disclaimer before everything. And if they hopped on me, says, I gives a fuck about streaming and maybe you. And again, and here's the thing. I'm gonna say this. I always say this. I'm a traditional console guy. I like getting in line midnight, going out there with them wild rock. I'll be the only black guy there. I don't go to the hood anymore. I moved up in life, right? I'll be the only person of color in line, right? My black ass, and I ain't even that dark, right? Out there in somewhere in Livingston, New Jersey, right? Standing in line. Woo! Got my Mountain Dew, got my coffee, got my Doritos, exchanging gamer tags. You know what I mean? Literally. So you know what I mean, and getting the console, come home and unboxing it, but here's the thing. What's the old guys at the gate, right? There are gamers that are born every day. We're going to be gamers. They've never really maybe had the chance to experience. And what I said to a lot of you motherfuckers wasn't being honest. Instead of you just say, for example, Sony coming out with the PlayStation 5 or Microsoft coming up with the next Xbox. Say if those consoles cost $500 a piece, right? You may not have $500 right now, but you want to play the new Destiny 5 or whatever, and you can sit down and play that bitch and it work. Like I'm just telling you again, it shocked the hell out of me that shit worked.
Yeah, you really don't think when you plan it, you lose track of the fact that you're streaming the game.
That's all that I said. That motherfucker 1080p, 60 frames a second, high settings. That shit work.
And the first thing you say is, "Nah, this can't be streaming," because
it
don't feel like it. It doesn't feel like it. It feel like you're on a home console playing a game. It plays that well, and when you play it, and first Z was talking about it from a perspective he hadn't had his hands on it.
Yeah.
But when you get your hands on it, your whole perspective will change. Like, yo, if I can get this type of quality, consistently, or at least more often than dealing with some drop or latency, then this shit can go. My kids can. I don't have, like he said, I don't have to spend $400 or $500 or $1,000 on two systems. I can buy this $150 peripheral that Microsoft say they coming out with, and they'll be good, and they won't even know that they streaming. The kids won't even know. They'll just be like, "Man, I'm playing all my games on this little box, not knowing that shit coming from the cloud. It works that good."
Like I said before, I'm saying that it's scary. Who would have thought 10 years ago that we wouldn't, when we really buying Blu-ray movies or DVD movies or whatever, Netflix, that, you know what I mean, like I go out and buy I mean, every Tuesday I will faithfully go to Best Buy and buy, Blu-rays or whatever. When the movies come out on Tuesday, they don't really change. But now sitting and watching it, streaming it digitally. And then people talk about internet pricing. And again, we're not talking about downloading the game. We're talking about streaming. I've never heard no one complain about watching too much Netflix in the house because they got a data cap.
People said the same thing.
That's all that I'm saying. Now, you've been downloading things, constant, but you're not downloading anything.
I'm streaming no movie. It's going to be lagging and this and that. I'm just going to go buy me a DVD. Whole world streaming right now.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
It was the first time I fired it up, I've played in the video one, but to be honest with you, in the video one, sometimes you can get on, sometimes you can't get on. It's not 100% right now. They're still working through the quirks. But this, just straight to the point, the game fired up. I went to put my Ubisoft account information in, and I was good to go. I couldn't. I'm like, okay. I was like, let me move it a little bit to the left. Let me just crank it a little bit to the left. And it was like boom, boom, boom. It was like instant. Like the console was right there. There was no. I don't even want to see there was no perceivable lag, because I would assume there'd have to be some type of lag, but there was no lag. There was no lag,
bro. And like D said, how fast you get access to the game and start playing is crazy. It's like,
there's no load time.
Load time. It's in the browser. You go to full screen, hit the start button, and you playing
automatic. Just boom, it goes to full screen like it's running, like you just loaded the damn game up.
Hey, bro.
It's incredible.
It's no load time. Look, no load screens. It's just boom, play.
Bro,
that's
why there was no slowdown. It was running at 60 frames per second, and the first scene, there's a lot of things going on the screen. You're fighting all of those Spartans. You're Spartans, and you're fighting like a big battle there. And it's just a lot of shit happening on the screen. There was no slowdown. There was no breaking up of the image. You would think because it's streaming, the image would break up or get choppy. It was just fantastic, and it was at 1080p, and it looked clean,
bro. Hey, listen, when I said it was scary, it is scary times. You know what I mean? And when I mean like scary times, like like things are moving. You know what I mean? Like for us technology wise. I would never thought in a million. I remember at the start of this generation, you had Michael Patch and them saying, this is gonna be the last console generation. And you got the Xbox, PS4 especially. It's been probably the most successful generation ever, right? Just for shits and giggles, right? But then you had Ubisoft and Konami, come out saying that about physical consoles or whatever being maybe one or two generations removed from that. You know what I mean? Just log into your Xbox app and have access to your games. I can see it now because it's one thing of just talking about it and not experiencing like I was, or people having a bad feeling about it because maybe they may have tried it Gaikai, or maybe they tried it online, or maybe they might have tried it PSN. What I played the other goddamn, actually I haven't played it in 2 days. This shit works. That's all. And it's all I want to own my game. Now I don't, like I said, as far as I know, I'm gonna say this again. I know that Google is coming out with an actual physical device, Project Yeti or whatever this is going to be. They're really throwing their hat in the ring, and Microsoft is coming with their xCloud. You know what I mean? So whatever you buy digitally to say whatever Xbox console that you go to, just like now, your games will come with you anywhere that you go. Now I'm not saying that I'm the one that want the game out in the street. That's not for me. But I'm saying there's a lot of people again that went to want to play Halo 6, but don't want to buy an Xbox. Or how would the fuck that go? You know what I mean? They may not get it at 4K 60. 1080p 60, and they're fine with that. And for those that say, well, no, you're full of shit. Shout out to my man, poor Peter Rock, right? He ain't get a PS4 to 2016. He a El Chivo. a lot of motherfuckers like myself, I got champagne taste with bare money. I might not have it to buy both consoles with day one, but I'm gonna be here faking to me. Man, I played that Bloodborne 2. I'm streaming that shit at the crowd like a motherfucker. Lying my ass off.
These the same people that say
that's all that I'm saying.
$500. These same people that say they want to spend $500 on X to play Microsoft games, but will go build a PC to get access to those very same games that they wouldn't buy the Xbox X for. I mean, it's just crazy. Whether you have a PC, and I'm pretty sure that this Project Stream is going to expand to mobile devices as well, just like Microsoft is doing. Right now, it's only a PC or Mac based, whatever. But I'm sure it's going to expand to other devices as well. But it's not the fact that we're saying we want this to replace our console. The fact is, it's scary that it plays that well that it can at some point in the future.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
and once again, to add to that argument, Microsoft in the cloud. Now imagine you have the local hardware that is capable of, let's say next gen, let's say 4K 60 frames per second constant, high to ultra settings. You have a local console that's able to produce that. You got a better CPU in there. You got the Ryzen chip in there. So it's already capable system. But of course, price constraints. You can't have the ray tracing elements of, say, an RTX 2080 Ti. But now you can use the component in the cloud to do the rest of the work of the stuff that you can't do locally. Now, if you got a game like Assassin's Creed, because that game is running ultra settings. It's not running low settings. It's running ultra settings in the cloud. It's running 60 frames per second. Now, if it has the grunt to do that, and you already have the local system that can do 4K 60, and you add all that power in the cloud, there's no reason, theoretically, that you can't have ray tracing on the next Xbox One console if they were to implement something like this.
Well, again, I'm sorry. They cursed me out.
It's a theory. Please don't crucify.
I see what D's saying. It's possible, even though it's theory. With them, the way they building that Azure cloud, like they said, they're putting 4 Xboxes per blade. And I'm not saying they're just doing the Xbox One S's like they showed in that video. That could have just been an example. Just take a 4 X's per blade, and you got a stack of 15, 20, 30, 40 blades. Now, this stuff is working different from just a regular system because all the CPUs are working in unisons, right? And so if you got 3 or 4 blades that's working, right, if it needs additional power or additional GPU, CPU, it has an AI ability to spin up a couple of more GPUs or CPUs to accomplish what it needs to get done. So in this sense, D is right. They could do the ray tracing in the cloud and then stream it down to the system to get that type of quality. He's not saying it's going to happen, but theoretically they do have the ability there.
Well, my man Harry,
and I'll tell you why I think that. If Google, and Google's no slouch, I'm not going to say they're not. Google's a great company. They're a huge company. But if Google can do this with no latency, imagine what Microsoft can do. Just imagine.
Well, here's the minimum requirements for Google is you got to have 25 down. Microsoft was somehow getting theirs to run between 10 to 5.
Actually, it's not. It's actually not 25 down. I know that reports come out and they've said that. But actually, when you start it up, it does a little test. And I don't want to go into. But I did the test, and at first it said, "Oh, you don't have enough," because I did something, and I don't know, Z, and you guys could probably read between the lines. I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to screw myself. And it said that you need at least 15 megabytes per second in order to use this service. So although they say, I think 25 is probably the optimal. But 15, if you have at least 15, minimum. You can do it.
Okay.
Yeah, minimum. Yeah.
Okay, now listen. No, I want to pay the bill. There's something else I want to say here. That's 2 more questions. Next, we tell about it. My man Harry Heck said, "Is that X Play between all their services actual?" You guys, what's something about X Play?
He said,
"Is the what?
Is that X Play? I don't know. X Cloud. Between
is he talking about X Cloud?
Yeah, I guess between all their services actual." Say something again, Harry. What do you mean by that? Is the X Play? You talking about Microsoft X Cloud thing? Is that going to be all their services, or what are you talking about?
Well, we're unsure what really.
Yeah. No, what is going to consist?
No. Okay, I see what he's saying. Maybe he's talking about as far as them charging. From what I understand, the X Cloud is not a charged service, a paid service. You would just buy the game digitally. And they will give you, you buy it, say on your phone. I'll give you an example. On your phone, you got an Xbox app on your phone. It's like having the Xbox interface on your console. You can buy stuff out of the store, and you can whatever through the app. You can launch it, whatever, and play it anywhere. You know what I mean? You're still, you're buying the game digitally. They're just giving you the option to be able to stream it, like Google's Play or store, what's called Google Play Store. You're gonna be able to buy these AAA multi-plat games, whether it's Duty, this, that, and the other. And maybe you don't have the most capable gaming rig. There you go. You can play whatever, Sea of Thieves for shits and good, whatever. It's going to run much better than most people PCs. Like I said, and it works.
I think with Xbox Live, Game Pass, and this X Cloud streaming thing, however they do it, I think they're going to have to restructure things for the next generation in terms of how we pay for it. Because you got Live, you got Game Pass. I don't know if there's going to be some type of pay model behind xCloud.
No, it's not. That's free.
You're also paying for these different subscription services. I think they need to change the structure where all this stuff can just be bundled under one price.
I'm quite sure that it could be, but Google's not. Here's the thing: just say Google's not charging a price to use Google Stream. You buy the game and you stream it on their server. And what
I think they must get some type of kickback from the companies.
They're selling the game. They're selling AAA games. You know what I mean? Like I said, for example, Microsoft, if I'm not mistaken, it gets about $15 or $14 royalty fees for Activision publishing Call of Duty on their console. But each goddamn Call of Duty gets sold, so Microsoft gets $15, right? Now look at the math. Now Google right now, they're not in the hardware business right now, so for digitally still was $60 or whatever the case may be, they're going to get $15. They already have these goddamn cloud servers to run this goddamn. That's money. That's man, bro. Let me tell you something. the most money. We'll call. Like, go back to my man Donnie D when it was talking about Valve. Steam wanted to get into the console business with them. So I don't know, man. It's cost a lot of money in being the hardware business. And you seen what Valve came out with Steam. They didn't even make their own Steam machine. They wanted the HP, Hewlett Packard, this, that, and the other. That's where the money goes. You know what I mean? It's the R&D of actually making.
That was such a.
Yeah, it was. Or making the actual hardware. Then you got different fees in different countries. You got Mexico, you got that plant, then you got taxes. You know what I mean? It's crazy as hell. You know what I mean? Now they can bypass all that, and you can still get the gaming experience. You know,
that just shows you how expensive the research and development in the hardware.
But even just the manufacturing, the cost of plants.
It's not that easy.
It costs us a lot. And I'm not saying that I'm some not getaway console. I love my consoles. I like having my theme consoles on my desk. We geeks. We like our gadgets. I get it. But I went back, like I told you guys, went back to the announcement before. But look at Google Fire Sticks. Who would have really thought that would have took off the way that it did, and outplacing cable boxes in the hood? I mean, and we got them. You know what I mean? Like, this just like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Not saying that I like it. I'm a big fan of it. But I gave you guys the analogy. Instead of me buying my grandson the new Xbox or whatever the case may be, he wants to play Peggle with Maya, whatever online. Hey, I don't have a problem buying him this $100 stick or whatever the hell, plugging it inside of his TV. Just pay the internet bill with $20 about down there, and let him go at it. You know what I mean? If that shit get missing, I do have a buying of what was my grandson's 8, about to be 8. I'll find all the goddamn console, but I'll buy him $100 you know what I mean? What do you call it? Stick. Get him like two games. Get him Xbox Live. He in there.
Be good. Yeah,
get him. I get him Game Pass for a year. Get him Game Pass. Get him Xbox Live for a year. He straight. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Kwanzaa, little motherfucker. Happy Kwanzaa.
Area where music, movies, and books is not restricted to a single platform. Meaning that you can access them wherever you want to, either on whatever platform.
That's now too.
And gaming is going in that very same direction.
I didn't think about it like that, Post, bro. You absolutely right.
Yeah, like when you listen to your music, you can listen to it on whatever platform you want, or your books, or your movies.
Yes, sir.
You got access to your content and what you pay for. But you know what I'm saying, you can access it on any device you want. Gaming is the last that doesn't do that, and it's going that way. You know what I'm saying? Because software is king. You know what I'm saying? They take losses on these hardware, but they
I didn't think about
sell the hell out this software to recoup that money back.
Because
you're not going to recoup everything back from the hardware sales.
Yeah, didn't Mike? I know Mike. It was an article I didn't really cover it, but maybe Crap might have dropped that megaton. About I think is Microsoft, Apple, and all those guys. Google. If you buy a movie one of them stores, you can watch it on any of the devices and have access. Music now, like I said, it's the same way. And now gaming, most likely, is going to be the same way. And again, like I said, and not to saying that I like it, because I like buying new hardware, new gadgets, and just that and the other. But when you see motherfuckers like Nintendo trying it, you know what I mean? And again, we talking about
they're streaming Assassin's Creed as well.
Resident Evil 7 also. You know what I mean?
And believe they're looking at that as far as their own portfolio. Yeah. It might not be done with their games, but best believe they're looking at how the trend picks up. If the fan base love it or something, then they're going to put something in place.
And that's something that could really help the Switch, because we make fun of the Switch all the time on this channel. It's fucking anemic, let's be honest. But if they could stream these games, it would make it a non-issue of these third-party games not being on their system. Because now they could stream them, and that would be pretty sick if you could stream it on a handheld like the Switch with the same input lag, which is 0, that I'm getting right now on Project Stream. That would be fantastic. I just want to answer this question. I know it's not a super chat question, but I want to answer it anyways. It's Lou He said, would streaming make hardware irrelevant if we could stream games at their best in 5 to 10 years from now? I don't think hardware will ever be irrelevant, because there are going to be people like myself, Z, and Post Up. They're just going to want to own physical hardware. So there's going to be people that don't have the internet or don't want the internet. They don't want to go online. They just want to be able to pick up their games and play. And so, no, I don't think it'll make it irrelevant. But I think in 5 to 10 years' time, I think streaming will be huge, and I think most people will be participating in it. But there will always be physical hardware. Always.
Listen, I'm not even going to say. I hope so. Us too. Hey, post to me if you pay Dragon Ball.
I got you. I see. Shout out to Dragon Ball. This fuck nigga. He says, "Is right. Live Game Pass and his new xCloud needs to be restructured." Great topic, fuck nigga.
Well, I mean, I don't. I mean, maybe they will. Maybe Microsoft will offer a package deal between Game Pass and Xbox Live. You know what I mean? Normally, how I buy my Live, I watch those sales. Come on like once a year. But Best Buy don't. I can buy Xbox Live $35 for the year, and I buy a couple cars. I just stack them shits up. I don't know when my shit runs out. You know what I mean? But even as far as Game Pass, right now, like all the game modes that they have in here, I have. More or less, or little ones that I'm not really interested in. You know what I mean? I was looking through some of this stuff yesterday, but once with these 5 new studios, you know what I mean? I said the same thing with Sony. Let me say this again. To add what you're saying, even like with Sony, like I said, PlayStation Now, I don't know if they started it now, but we can maybe all agree. Only motherfucker I seen hype about PlayStation Now was Hip Hop Gamer and Jabari, right? The service wasn't that great. You know what I mean? Whatever 720p, the latency, X1Z, there's countless videos on this. So again, I think a lot of people have their nose turned up about streaming because maybe of the experience that they may have experienced on PlayStation Now. And this is my disclaimer again. The Google Stream or whatever else is nothing like that. It actually works and performs like the actual one. It costs you nothing to try it. If I can find the link, I'll leave one in the chat. You guys can sign up for it. They get back to you in a day, and they give you access to the full game of Assassin's Creed. You get it until January. You know what I mean? January. Okay. Now, with that being,
and it's the whole game too.
It's the whole game. Like I said, with that being, like I said though, go. Like I said, let's say we're going forward, and so we say there may always be a market for, hardcore. I mean, for people that want to go out and buy. But I can, like I said, if it works again. Not everybody has $500. To buy
and it's an option. And in all honesty, I don't know why are always against. First of all, it's gonna make the community larger, so these games are gonna have much more support. You're gonna have much more people to play with online. It's gonna increase the life of certain games, and everybody will have a chance to game. If you don't want to do cloud gaming, then don't just buy a console.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But
I want to.
Yeah, post.
I don't like those little dinky mini cars and all that bullshit. I think it's retarded. But you know what? Some people enjoy that. It's their choice. I don't have to go and get a car like that. And if they enjoy that, enjoy it.
I want to respond to Mr. Righteous. He said something in the comment section. He said, "Music isn't as interactive as playing video games." He said, "I'm not playing games outside of the crib." He said, "I leave the crib to go to work, to gym, and to cheat. That's all, not to game."
I'm
Look, that's your person.
Listen, I'm with him. And I ain't got listen. I'm not gainfully employed, but I'm not go outside to cheat. Hey, listen, I stay getting shot. Listen, y'all think I be joking, man. Niggas stay tearing my ass up, man, like the old cake around, man. Niggas just got hit up. Niggas stay getting shot, right? But with that being said, I'm with you on that, you know what I mean? So I'm not, even when I owned it, I still own my Vita. I played the Vita inside the house, but I mean, I'm not even talking about so much gaming on the go. What was the name? Was Mrs. Righteous? I think his name was. But I'm just saying, for those that maybe you don't want to buy 2 consoles. How about that? Maybe, you don't like all the exclusives that Microsoft have, but you know what? I would like to play Forza and Horizon 4. That's what I'm saying. I'll give you an example as far as myself, right? When I tell you guys that I always will own a PlayStation or an Xbox, right? Check this shit out, right? I wouldn't mind playing Mario Odyssey, but I'm not spending $300 to play one goddamn game. But if Nintendo gave me the option to buy the game, I could just sit and stream it however. In my house, plug my controller up to my PC.
I'm not playing about that.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So I like to call myself a hypocrite, or that my integrity is in question, but that scenario will fit me. I don't care about Nintendo's hardware. I don't like enough of their games for me to invest into their ecosystem. But I wouldn't mind playing Zelda. I wouldn't mind playing Bayonetta. But I'm not spending $300 for this shit, you know what I mean? I'm not going to do it. But they gave me an option to play those and save those games and a console like experience. But none of that, if I no jump, shit me. Maya, she's Mario crazy right now. Mario and Donkey Kong. That's all. I can't wait to get that game. And I think it's cute because she always about she don't want no toys for Christmas. All she wants is video games. And Mario myself, right? But if I can skip the middleman and not buy some hardware and just let her fucking and buy the goddamn games and she can just plug into the TV, you think she gives a fuck if she got a console or not? Hell no. They saving me that $300 I was gonna spend on the console. I can spend it on games for, and she be happy to eat the motherfucking pig and shit. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. There's a huge market out there. My man Overdone. Hey, somebody got me in the background. Somebody got to mute the podcast. Somebody.
What's that? You got Sinead phone?
Let me. Let's post.
All right, you bring me your phone, right?
Let me mute post. Hold on, let me see his whole.
Bring me your phone.
Server mute. There you go. Hey, I'll post back the bar $5 so his heard his whole conversation. My man Overdone was back with the foolery and fuck. We said, why would you buy the Kraken? He said, why would you buy the Kraken if you had a chance? No, I ain't buying the Kraken, man. Nah. I ain't no Sea of Thieves. But that's all that I'm saying, you know what I mean? And whether you like it or not, you such as myself, the old man or the old guard at the gate, bro, gaming is changing, gaming is evolving, everything, you know what I mean? I will say this. Bill Gates been talking about physical media or whatever becoming a dinosaur for the last, I'll say, I first started reading that shit from Bill about 2002 when I got my Xbox, about the actual physical media being a dying format, you know what I mean? They kind of missed the ball with getting the jump on Apple as far as iTunes. I mean, they caught Sony that, Apple caught Sony with their pants down too. At the time, Sony owned all of the music shit, and and they got the jump on with the iPod. But they've been talking about the physical media dying for a while. I think here's the thing. I'm gonna say this again. I think I can honestly say if things start to progress like the way they are, and right now and it works and it only continues to get better, we may be at that break of the time. I'm gonna say this again. Right now, I can play Assassin's Creed on my, on my what's that shit?
Google Chrome, damn
Google Chrome at 1080p, 60 frames per second high settings.
Damn.
What the X and with the PS4 are doing 30 or with frame rate issues and all that stuff, whatever the case may be, that's crazy. So I didn't have to buy a $5 Pro or 250 Slim or 250 S and just play. I would spend $50 for the game or whatever the hell it's going to cost. That's bananas, man. Last question I want to ask you before we get the hell up out of here. I had this my man John J-O-N, you guys were spelling his name wrong. But anyway, this industry analyst on the show yesterday, and he went over some of the numbers.
All right, I'm back.
Okay, and of course, several Xbox guys again threatening to render me unconscious, call foul. The guy didn't know what he was talking about, this, that, and the other. Neither here or there. But anyway, it's a very credible guy. He doesn't, like I said before, he doesn't have a horse in the race, nor a dog in the fight, right? He gets paid from Samsung and all these other companies to go around collecting data, just like the NPD. But neither here or there, right? His job is to count pixels, anything dealing with pixels. That's what sets his company apart from NPD. NPD counts everything. His company is firm only anything dealing with video pixels, whether it's games, movies, anything with pixels, right? Check this out. Now, I asked him, I'm going to ask you guys a question. Which Dean, you guys, post, you guys are the tech guys. Right now, we getting some games, Rockstar, are 4K 30, right? 4K 30, right? At a minimum, going into the next generation as far as the PlayStation 5 or the next generation Xbox, do you think that 4K 60 native should be the standard or will be the standard? Because he also said that, being that the X and the Pro, he counts them, have been successful for moments from Microsoft. So I don't think that, you're going to get a PS5 Pro or an X, but you're going to get one of those. What would be the selling point if we're already going to get, to say, 4K 60 or whatever the case with the Xbox Scarlet or the PlayStation 5? Or you think it's going to be native 4K 30? Like, what are your thoughts?
I think it's going to be 4K. Listen, we're gonna be having Ryzen next consoles. I'm confident to say that. It's about time. They're not going to launch these consoles fucking Jaguar. So once we have the Ryzen CPU in there, we're pretty much guaranteed 60 per second. Now, if the rumors are true with Navi targeting GTX 1080 performance, then we're going to get 4K 60 with, high, some tweaks here and there to, maintain 60. I'm sure the odd game will be at 30 frames per second because it's going to be a transition, and not every studio is going to be great, and not every engine is going to be optimized, because even on PC, we have some engines that just, don't do 60 well at 4K. It just depends on the game, right? But for the most part, I think we're going to be looking at 4K 60. Now, what I think is going to differentiate these consoles is the way they go about it. Now, we see that the PlayStation is going to be concentrating on VR, a new way to play VR. So now, if you could do 1440p, or say they even shock us and they do 4K with the VR, which I highly doubt it.
Yeah,
I doubt that. But even so, if they do 1440p, 120 frames per second, you have your every movement being tracked with these bracelets on your hand. So you're basically, running around with nothing in your hand. So it's like free form. You have a headset that is wireless, then that could be something that makes the generation different. Also, too, with Microsoft, like I said many times on the show already, if they implement something from the cloud where, it adds extra compute to your system where you could process stuff that your console has no business doing, but the cloud enables that, such as ray tracing, that could be something, that differentiates the consoles from each other and from this generation.
But okay, I get that. But again, what he was saying was that, like I also too, like I said, they were successful with the Pro and the X, or selling well, or whatever the case. You take mid-gen refreshes. Don't expect that to go away. You know what I mean? Probably 2.5 years in, or 3 years in with the PS5, we're gonna get PS5 Pro. I'm just asking you, what would be the selling point if we're already getting 4K? The selling point for the Pro. The selling point for the Pro and the X, or dynamic 4K or whatever,
It'd be hard to say what it is, because technology moves so fast. So we'd have to see what's happening in the PC landscape at that point in time to see what they'd be bringing to the table. Now, I know 8K will slowly become a thing.
Yeah, well,
there's no real 8K content right now.
Oh, no.
However, Samsung still released an 8K TV. They have an 8K TV that's out now that you can buy. Yeah. So, I would assume the next thing might be 8K,
And next generation, I think maybe.
Well,
I think 4K. Hopefully, we become the standard. We move away from 1080p, because that wasn't even the standard at the start of this generation. You had 900p. I hope that again in 4K, because we already doing 4K. I hope 4K, native 4K, will be the standard. But what I'm hoping for, this is my thing. I'm hoping, because resolution doesn't give you a better graphic. I'm looking for it to be wow. You know what I mean? When I see the PS5 or I see the next Xbox, looking at those games or whatever the case may be, like, I knew that couldn't be done on previous hardware. You know what I mean? That's what I'm looking forward to. But if, everyone's talking about performance with 4K 60, to that and the other. If we're going to get that, you're saying Ryzen or Vega, whatever the fuck the case may be, if we're going to get that with the PS5 and the next Xbox, if we're going to still be doing mid-gen refresh, my question is, to be honest with you, is what is the selling point? And listen, to be honest, right? I thought what I was going to get with the X and the Pro, like I told my man yesterday, it didn't meet my expectation. The reason why I say that, because again, I'm going from with the Xbox 1.3 T flops to 6 T flops. I thought games were going to look graphically 6 T flops better, or going from the PS4 from 1.8 to 4, you could tell me games graphically wasn't going to look 5 times better than what I was already getting. You know what I mean? And that wasn't the case.
The problem is the way that they're making games. Is the rasterization of games. It's just been stagnant for so long that there's only so much they can do with the way that they make games now. So, with ray tracing coming into effect, that's slowly and surely you're going to see games starting to look better, and they start to implement new techniques where games start to approach photorealism. Now, next generation, I think that's a really good question. Like 2 years after, these next generation consoles come out, what could they add? And I can't really think of anything right now, because 8K is so far off. The only thing I could think of is ray tracing. And then once again, I still don't think they'd be capable of doing it locally at that point. Technology changes over years, so anything can happen.
Okay,
but it's a hard question to answer.
I will say this right before we go, and a determining factor that neither of you guys tackled and said, for what we have right now, you know what I mean, the next Xbox, as far as engines, you know what I mean, whether it's Unreal Engine 4 or whatever, Ubisoft using Snowdrop, whatever. The next generation console, as far as generation technological engines become more demanding. They should be able to handle 4K. Now, maybe next generation, maybe some of these engines may change and maybe more, quote unquote, demanding. You know what I mean? And then and then what I mean. And so then maybe, like I said, as far as that, so you won't be able to get 4K. Maybe back down to 1080p 60, and then with the mid-gen refreshes that it gets back up to 4K. Like, I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm just
maybe the next gen refresh maybe would offer something like. This is just going on a limb. It's just a guess. Maybe be like 4K 80 frames per second, 4K 120 frames per second, because I don't think this
for a monitor. I mean, not for no TV.
Well, the 4K 120, 144 hertz monitors, there's some of them out, and they're coming. So next year, I don't think this year, but next year that will be a thing on the PC, especially with the refresh of NVIDIA and whatever AMD brings out in 2019. I'm pretty sure at that point we'll be up at 4K 120 frames per second. So it's a guess, but it's hard to say because we don't know what different technologies are going to come into play in the future. So it's hard to say.
All right. I guess I'm not going to keep these guys here too much longer. I hope you guys like the improv show. I just want to talk about some of the latest PlayStation 5 rumors and, the future. Like I said, damn, it's already here. It's 2018. Believe it or not, this generation started 5 years ago. 5 goddamn years ago. You know what I mean? But shout out to everybody in the chat. Hopefully tonight I better get back around 7:30, 8 o'clock with you guys, the multiplayer podcast. And Red Dead's coming out tonight.
Yeah, Red Dead's coming out tonight, and the video that I was talking about earlier, it is up on my channel. I just left the link for it in the chat here. You guys can click on it.
Yeah, you can check it out.
I do want to say this though before we go. Microsoft was late on a lot of things last generation and the generation before. But when they came in with the OG Xbox and them data centers, they put $2 billion. That's when cloud gaming started for them. That's when investing in cloud gaming, and that's why they're at this point right now with all them data centers. They won't go be late on this. So this one thing that they got right when they spent that $2 billion on them all them data centers. They got it right. So yeah, you know what I'm saying. I can't wait for next gen. And we got a show later on today, right? Z?
Yeah, we're gonna do the multiplayer. It's going down with
all, especially with that Red Dead news.
Yeah.
Let me just address some of the stuff here in the chat. I see some guys say, "Oh, it's gonna be 1080p, 1440p, 60 frames per second." Next generation, it's gonna be 4K 60. Right now with the X, and the only thing holding it back from doing
is the CPU.
4K 30 on every single game is the CPU, pretty much. Yeah. The GPU is capable. So next generation is going to have a far better GPU than what they have now. People saying I'm full of shit that I said Ryzen the last generation, because I thought they would put it in there because it was a possibility. Yeah. But I guess due to financial structure or their research and development, they just were unable to put it in. So it didn't make it. But this generation, for sure, Ryzen is going to be in there.
Everybody thought Ryzen was going to be in there.
It's going to be a Ryzen CPU. And once you have that in there, 4K 60 will be a thing. Now, will it be 4K ultra settings? Max PC settings on everything? No, it won't. No. I think it'd be 4K ultra high. Yeah. So some tweaks here and there in the settings, but I really think that the next generation consoles will be targeting 4K 60.
And a lot of them be developer based too.
30 frames per second has been too dominant in consoles for too long, and it's the one thing that makes consoles a joke. And 60 frames per second needs to be a standard on the next generation consoles, and with the Ryzen CPU and with the more powerful GPUs they're gonna have, I don't see a reason why it won't. Like let's be honest, GTX 1080, like I said before, if you tweak some of the settings in there, you can get 4K 60 on a lot of games. Now GTX 1080 is like 2 years old. By the time the next consoles come out, it's gonna be like 3-4 years old. So you can't tell me at that time they're not gonna have a GPU that can outperform a GTX 1080. Let's just be realistic.
Yeah.
Okay. So
You're gonna get a lot more 4K 60 games next gen, and then all of this will come down to the developer, the type of game they make, and what choice if they want to go with 30 or 60. But I do believe you're gonna see a lot more 4K 60 games next generation than you did this generation.
I gotta answer somebody's ask.
Says,
get him, a Ryzen mid-range CPU can handle 4K 60 draw calls. First of all, you should know that when you're at the 4K resolution, as long as you have a pretty good processor, even a mid-range, like say 6-core, 12-thread processor, the GPU is going to be doing most of the fucking work, right? So as long as the GPU is capable enough to spinning up the frames, the CPU will be able to do 60 frames per second. So you have no idea.
DX12 solve the draw call thing?
You have no idea what you. The Ryzen CPUs now paired with an even the mid-range ones paired with a RTX card, a 2080 or 2080 Ti, they're hitting 60 frames per second. If you look at all the reviews out there between like Intel or a Ryzen CPU, they're pretty much the same, because at 4K your bottleneck becomes the GPU. So let's come on, talk. And everyone went quiet, and the stream died. Z, what happened? Where are you
at? Yeah, man. You got to look at what the tech is now. I mean, because you have to think that the consoles that we got at the beginning of this generation, we got some old tech, man. They got us. They sold us some old fucking tech, and Microsoft and Sony used to blame on this shit. They got away with selling us some old tech, man.
And don't get it twisted, I think there'll still be some 30 frames per second 4K games on the next console. I'm not saying everything's going to be 60 frames per second, but I think 60 frames per second will be the norm, not the exception. Where does Z go, man? What the hell?
Z always he slid out, probably getting his Chinese food or something.
Is the stream over?
I don't even know. Let me see here. No, they can still hear us because Alex talking about some shut up poke. Sony didn't sell us a box for $500.
Yeah.
Well, they sold you one for $400, and it still had a beat up ass Jaguar chip in there. So shit.
Z saw a baddie saw a baddie grandma walking down the street and just left the stream.
Just because it was the most powerful and affordable at that time doesn't mean that it wasn't old. I'm just saying.
Well, I gotta say though, I'm really that Project Stream. That just blew my mind. How responsive it was. It was amazing. And also tell you, I'm happy because I didn't order Assassin's Creed.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get time to order it because I knew I was going to be playing Red Dead Redemption, and I have so many games on the backlog already because, with the newborn baby and everything, I just don't have the time to dedicate, to gaming, so I just didn't order it. So the fact that I have it until January 15th, which gives me enough time to clear it, is fucking awesome, man. And the game plays fantastic. Streaming is a real thing, man. It's a real thing. And I can't wait to see what the consoles do with the next generation.
You got to make up your mind. You want streaming or you want 4K 60?
Oh, man, Alex, who can get your ass up this stream? This stream is for the tech-minded, not the trolls.
Yeah, look, man, when you're talking about stream, I ain't heard nobody saying that streaming is going to be 4K 60 in terms of games. So we're not saying that, and we're not saying that we wanted to take over hardware. We're just saying that shit works well beyond your expectation. Like, no, for real, Alex, if you played that shit, man, you'll be like, you'll have a different perspective on it.
We can't hear you.
Let me see if I can send the link. I'm gonna post the link for everybody.
You can't hear me?
Next gen, we can't hear you. I see you lighting up.
Oh no, he went to do something.
Yeah, he away from.
Oh,
You hear them pots in the background. I think about to boil some pig feet or something, boy. I'm telling you. I'm getting the link right now to Project Stream.
The only benefits I'll say from that streaming shit is if when these new devices come out, these new PS5s and new Xboxes, you could be camping out there and streaming your games on your phone. That'd be perfect for that.
But the cable man,
yeah, and that's what I was saying too. Like, people kind of. The same people who kind of down in the stream thing, it's the same people who walk around and play their games on the Switch on the go, man. This allows the same thing, man. Like I said, I can see my kids in the park running around and me hopping on live with the guys.
All right, have you streamed it on your phone on the go?
Nah, I haven't streamed it. I haven't streamed it on my phone on the go yet. I played it in the house.
That's where the real test comes.
Yeah, that's where the real test comes in.
It doesn't allow it in the browser.
I don't think they're going to do that until 5G officially.
Alex in here?
Yeah,
what's good, my boy?
Chilling, my brother. We on tonight, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. 7:30, 7:45. We in there. Yeah. Oh, you Alex ain't a fan of the stream. Alex, bro, bro, you got decent cable. Fill it out. Try it. I seen you.
I
seen it, bro. Listen, you got the same fans that I got, bro. When I tell you like you play, it ain't no different. Personally, I wouldn't use it for gaming on the go because it ain't that serious to me. But I'm saying for people,
I'm posting the link right now.
Put it in the chat too. People that want to try it. What I'm saying is for people that don't want to buy a console like you, right. you might not want to buy an Xbox, but if they got a few games that you want to play. And you can sit and play it and get the same goddamn console experience. A lot of motherfuckers don't take advantage of that. You know what I mean? That's all that I'm saying.
How many developers are going to be behind this? Because there was an article I read the other day that developers aren't with the shit.
No, that's what Game Pass.
No.
That's Game Pass. Ain't got nothing to do with that. Microsoft is going to sell the game regardless in their store.
This streaming shit is an industry movement. Third party on this shit just as much as the publishers are.
It doesn't affect them whatsoever.
Believe me.
You still buying the game for $60, and they just let you, instead of you playing on the console, you play it in their cloud.
You log into your account,
it's dope.
Right?
It's dope for the option. It's dope for the option. Like if you're a person that has the Xbox already and you're already.
It's dope if you don't got an Xbox.
Even if you have an Xbox,
I'm just saying.
Xbox not doing 1080p 60 with that game.
No, I know, but I'm just saying if you're already invested to that ecosystem, it's great. It's a great add-on. But I don't see the masses buying into this shit. That's the problem I'm seeing.
They will.
I see the Ouya. Honestly, I think about it. I think about the Ouya too. That's what I think about it.
This is nothing to do like the Ouya. Once I'll be honest with you, this is one of those things that once you try it, you're like, Here's
the thing. As far as the masses, you don't have to buy a $500 goddamn console and play the same game that I'm playing. No issues. This is just how you see the bigger picture. I didn't have this. If you don't have a gaming rig and this and the other, I'm playing fucking Assassin's Creed. What do you call it? Odyssey on a fucking $200 goddamn machine, and it's running better and looking better than on my $500 and $400 goddamn console. This is if you don't want to buy the goddamn console.
I get what you're saying though, but remember, you just said to me right now that you have to buy these games, right? Yeah, how many of these mobile gamers and these guys are going to spend $60 on these games just to stream?
Well, you got to buy games, period, if you want to play no matter what platform.
No, but I understand that. But the way they're going to look at it is like, I'd rather have the experience in the house than I would on my
I'm talking about in my house.
No, I get what you're saying, but what I'm trying to explain to you is who's buying this? That's what I'm asking you. Who's buying this?
You know who's buying it? Cheap ass motherfuckers like Porter Rock that they get the PS4 to 2016. And he can still play Bloodborne.
That business.
How many of them dudes?
I guarantee
a lot of motherfuckers like that, bro.
Hey, Porter Rock can get access to his Xbox library and doesn't need to own an Xbox.
He don't even turn that shit
on. Exactly. No, I don't need to buy the hardware. I can just stream this shit. I got Microsoft Cloud.
Hey, yo, look, I'll give you another example, right? Now I don't give a fuck about no Nintendo, right? But say I want to play motherfucking Mario Odyssey, right? Just for the shits and giggles.
Shit.
Hey, I ain't gotta buy that dog shit ass Switch and still play Mario. That 1 or 2 games or Zelda that I might play or Bayonetta and play the same shit.
No, I get what you're saying, but then that's gonna hurt the Xbox platform if it does take flight.
How's it hurt it? They make their money on software. Everybody make their money on software. Yes, man.
I don't know. I see that shit as a failure. I don't think that's gonna work this day and age. I think it's gonna take some time. The internet has to get better. It's a lot of shit has to get better.
It's there. You listen. Let's see for yourself. You send it right now.
Listen. It's right now, and my T-Mobile service is trash. So imagine if I'm on the game on the go. Come on, man.
Fuck the game on the go.
That's a you problem.
Hey, listen.
Man, you live in Canada. Shut your ass up.
hey, Alex. Fuck gaming on the go.
You know, I live in Canada. You know how much my internet is? I get 100 megabytes. 1,000 megabytes per second.
On your mobile?
On my mobile, I get about 100 megabytes.
But fuck, listen.
That's what I'm talking about. Mobile. My house, I'm
100 megabytes per second is fast on the mobile.
Internet you get right now, a gig, whatever that shit's called on Verizon.
Well, 5G gonna solve all that, bro. That's all right,
but that shit is not out all the way though. I don't even know if it's out right now.
All you need is 50 megabytes per second on this service, though.
Yeah, I ain't. Listen, as far as gaming on the go,
you gonna get. Listen, let me tell you something. You can get the speeds like right now with T-Mobile. If I do a speed test, it's gonna show me I can get like maybe 30, 20 gigs. I mean, 20 megabytes, whatever it is. But it dips. It's never consistent. You understand what I'm saying?
I don't know what kind of.
Man, it all depends, though. It depends on what kind of phone you got.
My stuff
it ain't the phone. It's the city I'm in. So many people have T-Mobile over here. That's what I'm saying.
It's environmental and it could be.
But it's not going to be for everybody. You know what? It's just not going to be for everybody. But for the people that do have the connection, for the people that don't have the connection, it shouldn't hold progress back. Sorry for you guys. Sorry for your loss, but hey, sucks to you.
It's not,
for all of us out there that do have
that mindset ain't gonna get you a sale.
We can take advantage of it.
That mindset
and we will.
The sales though, it won't. Let's see what you just said. Oh, good luck for you. So what happens to the masses? That's what I'm saying.
But there's a lot of people that do have high speed. Those are potential customers. So because
these potential customers talking about are rocking with Boost mobile phones, bro.
Because 100 people can get high speed and 20 people can't get high speed. You think the 20 people speak for the 100? They don't.
Listen, what I'm trying to explain is
this same shit was
talking about.
We had these same conversations This same conversation happened when the old released with his first with the Ethernet. The same questions about internet came up as far as it's not being prominent enough. It's not being in the home. It's not being good enough. We got past that stage. Now we at this stage at the beginning. Hold on. I'm just saying.
I'll let you rock. So what you rather play in your house? Wi-Fi or tethered to Ethernet?
It depends.
Depends on what?
I just played Project Stream. I was on Wi-Fi. I wasn't even tethered to, and it played like I was on the console.
What I'm asking you is what you prefer when it comes to gaming on your console. Do you prefer playing on Wi-Fi or Ethernet?
Well, I do both because I think I got the PlayStation on Ethernet because it's slow as far as download. But my Xbox One X is on Wi-Fi, and I game on that. I even stream Cody on that and don't have any problems. I get 400. I get 400 down. I get 400 down.
I prefer to play on Ethernet, to be honest with you. Exactly. But at the speeds that I'm getting, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't. I get 400 down. I get 400 down right now. But I'm about to upgrade to the
1,000 down, and I get I think it's like 60 or 70 up or something like that. And when I do it Wi-Fi way, I get like maybe 850 down. So like, is it really making a difference?
But I'm about to get gigabit because Comcast just made it real affordable to get gigabit Ethernet, and that's what I'm saying. That the price for gigabit Ethernet is coming down. Within the next couple of years, that shit is going to be cheap. I remember at one point it was $300-$500 to get gigabit.
Yeah, that's what I have. I have the gigabyte service.
That shit cheap now. And I'm doing that shit on 400 megabits down, bro.
So you think come Microsoft XO18, they're gonna talk about this streaming stuff more? Or?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I think they're gonna
dude in the chat, if I play God of War, I beat that shit in 2 days. So that's the answer to your question. I do play games, motherfucker.
Oh no, here I know what, bro. Bro, let me listen. My child. You have the same. You got the same fears. Listen, you got the same fears.
And when he played,
yeah, you got the same fears, and that I'm sad. And again, I will always buy me a Xbox. I will always buy me a PlayStation
for the rest of my life. Right?
Yeah, but listen, was saying the same listen, what you saying is a lot of motherfuckers in this chat right now fraud ain't gonna have that money when that 500 when that next Xbox or that new PlayStation come out, but they want to play Bloodborne 3, right? You know what? They're gonna be faking it and make it. Man, I'm gonna and playing that bitch with streaming it and it works.
Motherfucker will be like, I'm streaming it now, talking for.
No, they ain't gonna say that. Honestly, they ain't gonna say that. They gonna say they on the PlayStation 5.
Buy the best TVs and the best equipment to play this shit. I ain't streaming no bullshit. I want the
I'm with you. Listen,
no, Alex, we're not saying that. Look,
no. For me, it sounds like it's an option.
Alex, no, the shit is an option.
Hey, Alex, you fuck all that, nigga. The world's most dangerous pony. I lost 2 subscribers behind you, right? For fucking with you, right? Look at it, right? You know I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I'm with you. I want the best of everything. But I'm telling you that this shit look better, or not just as good as it was on my X. 1080p, I said it was 60 frames a second. The Pro and the X is only doing 30. I'm telling you, it's just that good. And again, I don't want consoles to go anywhere. I'm old school like you, bro. But once motherfuckers like you, I guarantee you, your motherfucking thing is going to change like mine. It's one thing we can talk about it until you actually get in your hand.
Physical no more. All my shit digital.
Yeah, I'm just saying that, bro.
It's conveniency.
It just changed his perspective on it.
How about this, right?
The same thing you said right now, Z was saying the same thing until you played.
So you converted?
No. I'm going to buy me a console. But I'm saying there's going to be a lot of motherfuckers that's going to, like I just told you, I wouldn't mind playing Mario Odyssey for shits and giggles or Wind Waker. But I'm not spending $300 on no dog shit that Switch. Now, I can buy those games and still play them, the same like you playing them. Yeah. Shit. You know what I mean? Look, you got a big Xbox guy. Say you might like Gears and you might like PUBG too. 2 games that you're looking forward to. And you ain't got to buy that $5 goddamn console and you can play that shit and have the same experience like me. A lot of motherfuckers gonna do it.
Honestly, if it came down to it, I'll still have to get the hardware. Like, I'm that type of nigga.
I'm with you, but it's a lot of motherfuckers that can't afford it. Is what I'm saying. Yeah. Say if you gotta wait till whenever you next paycheck until you get your taxes, but the game out right now, bro.
Yeah. Not only if they can get the same performance on the mobile as it is on the PC.
I ain't fucking talking about mobile. I'm in the house on the browser.
I'm just saying in the house on the browser. I'm just saying the reason why I'm saying like on
shit,
because just in certain situations, it can be usable. Like I said, out in the park,
a lot of situations.
You got a family over and everybody together. You down there on the fucking
fuck my family.
Phone.
Game is a very selfish hobby. Fuck my family.
I'm just saying,
don't give a fuck about me.
I'm just saying, you can use that shit in many different situations. But I'm saying, if they can get the same performance on mobile as they got on PC, that shit gonna be amazing.
Christmas is coming up, and I don't even believe in God. But Christmas is coming up. I got my big head ass grandson. He gonna want an Xbox or whatever the hell's coming out. You know what? And listen, I told you, going on and listen, nigga come. Listen, grandson like me come from very humble beginners, man. So give him, you know what I mean? It's gonna give him some character. You know what I mean? He got what the fuck I said? That nigga got he got come from poor stock, right? That's all I'm gonna say with that, right? So instead of me going out that motherfucker buying him an X for $400, whatever the fuck. Just have the streaming device come out for Microsoft selling for $100, and he still can play Peggle 2, his Fortnite and all that shit. I get that nigga Game Pass card for the year. Hey, you know what I mean? Man, shit, nigga, I'm daddy daycare, bro. Shit, me. Knew I was a hell of a father. You know what I mean? Shit, man. You know what I mean? He ain't got to worry about no hard drive space and none of that shit. He can stream that shit and hat, man, shit, bro.
Yeah. What's that Game Pass right now? $120 a year, some shit?
No, shit. But I mean, they got deals for the. I mean, I think if you do it, it's $10 a month. But it's like,
they got $60 for 6 months.
They got some cheaper than that. They got 3 months. It's like $20 right now or something.
Hey, shout out to Microsoft. I had a year worth of Game Pass for the last year. That's just about to be over next month.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, you know what I mean? So, like I said, it is what it is. But anyway, like I said, shout out to everybody in chat again that enjoyed the show spur of the moment. We'll be back tonight, like I said, with the multiplayer podcast. Bearing on being that motherfucker screaming shit gonna be asinine. Yeah, man, we're gonna talk about these Xbox guys treating Red Dead Redemption like it's an exclusive.
Yeah, shout out to Cake Batter with the Fat Out Holly. He said next gen, some Xbox will have to decide to spend $500 on a new console and 0 games, or a stream box and buy 8 games.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. I mean, listen, I'm with you on that forest cake batter. I'm just saying, I'm just being optimistic. You know what I mean? Microsoft right now is at rock bottom. I'm close to show with this, right? They don't have nowhere else but to go is up. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And if they want, again, this gaming service, which is Game Pass, to be successful, they got to have content to put in. So I don't think they would acquire all these studios with this big overhead and not have them make games. You know what I mean? You know, that to me, I just don't. To me, that's just not practical. You know what I mean? You know, it may take a while to get the games, but you know what I mean. They're at work, Obsidian, and whatever. What's the new suit they talking about buying? Was it Turtle Box or Turtle something? They're supposed to be buying too. So we're gonna see. You know what I mean? You know, I think they would be a better adapted to, like I say, next generation to compete with Sony as far as software. Now, whether those games are you like this or like that, that's still, you know what I mean, you know, irrelevant. You know what I mean? But at least have quality games. You know what I mean? I think they'd be in. I hope they would be in a better position. But anyway, man, thank you
Send
all
me that
for
link,
rocking.
though. I need that link so I can try that.
I guarantee this fucking come on, yo, you ain't lying. This shit right.
Oh, I'll be on this multiplayer later talking about it.
Hey, yo, bro. No, when you fill it out, they gonna get back to you like the next day or the day. It'll take like 2 days.
Right.
Let me get back to you. You know what I mean? Yo, listen, I'm gonna say right now, Alex, anything you say can and will be recorded against and you record it and used against you in another show. Don't come to me and think you talking to me in confidence. Hey, yo, Z, I'm like, how about the Discord? I'm recording all that shit. Yo, you ain't lying, bro. Throw his ass right up under the bus. Throw his ass right up under the bus.
You do live stream? I live stream that shit.
Yeah.
Yo, he gonna come back with a different perspective, I guarantee you. Because I saw some dudes on Twitter that was naysayers, and it totally changed their whole.
Yeah, niggas talk that bit.
He was like, I was a naysayer, but this shit works.
I was blown away. Once you try that, you're like, oh.
Yeah, and listen, bro. This ain't no. Hey, this is the low. I'm not saying no spin. I ain't getting cut I ain't getting paid no money. When I tell y'all motherfuckers that shit work, bro, it worked.
I was on a Mac, so I had to go find some custom drivers for my Xbox controller. And
that's all I got is a Mac.
And that shit still worked with no lag.
I tried that shit on my little $140 goddamn e-machine that we got from Walmart, her little laptop. Plug my bro, that shit worked. You know what I mean? But like I said,
holla at Post to get those drivers because I got the Mac and all that.
Oh, yeah. For sure. But anyway, like I said, shout out to everybody in the chat. Like I said, if you enjoyed the improv show, again, you know, man, I'm always putting up. If you guys didn't see the show that I did yesterday, again, I'm going to say this again. That guy is a real guy within the industry. John Petty, Jompe. I'll leave the link to a site. Yeah. And because they were saying, well, no, you know. Okay.
They said he was lying, but he was official dude. They get paid. His firm get paid just like him. And motherfuckers, just because they don't fit that narrative, they discredit them.
Yeah,
crazy.
What you saying that the Xbox sold more than one?
No, it ain't. No, it's
he was putting out the real numbers.
That figure came from AMD. Here's the thing.
What's the numbers?
Looks like they came from AMD. I didn't want to make the show how you say a console award show. So you know I'm trying to be negative. I ain't trying to throw the Xbox under the bus. But what he's talking about, because I'm gonna say this again. His company, his firm, are responsible for counting pixels. Anything to do with video, you know what I mean? As far as the MPD does everything, music, this, that, and the other. His company's firm does nothing but pixels. You know what I mean? And if you look at the community chart, the AMD chart, you know what I mean? AMD sells GPUs. They had the PC what they sold for GPU, they actually sold, and then they also actually what they sold to Sony and Microsoft. They sold 36.7 million GPUs to Microsoft. So I'm not even talking about ship numbers here. But, you know what I mean? Yada yada. You know what I mean? We're not even talking about ship numbers. This is what they sold to Microsoft to make whatever console. So it's, you know what I mean? So it is what it is. So that's what that big. Well, Sony said they shipped 82 million and this, that, and the other, and this. Well, this is what AMD got rid of it to Sony, but it is what
they weren't listening to him when he was talking about cumulative and and it depends on how you're looking at the.
Yeah, you know what I
mean? Like, I was listening to him. That shit was kind of real complex.
Yeah, that's why I had him explain
because
it again.
You just can't look at the numbers and say, hey, that's what they sold. No, it's a lot of things behind them charts, and he was trying to break down, and I was like, oh, it's not just simple as looking at a number and saying, so it was really complex, man. So, but I was listening to him, but you know motherfuckers going to try to
I'll leave the link if you guys can see the show. Those, they run around with the MPD numbers and just that and the other. And who did what this was a great break. And also too, he explained, like I was telling you guys when I was on my pro Xbox shit with Sony, told me they sold this, that, and the other. And they sold just that, ship this numbers, and then Microsoft only give us ship numbers. Sony give us so no. Microsoft and Sony only deal with ship numbers. They get paid one time when they don't give Target 1 million consoles on the hip. No, they sell them 1 million cars. Then Target turns around and sells them to the consumer
to recoup what they just
so Microsoft doesn't count and say, "Hey, Target, how many Xboxes did you sell?" Or Sony. No, it doesn't work like that. You know what I mean?
MPD
they goes around the stores and get the sales, this, that, and the other. You know what I mean? As far as that, so that's a lot of times when you see the MPD numbers or Microsoft line or they won that much. Or you know what I mean, or Sony line that doesn't match the MPD. No, that they don't go by that. I mean, it's cool that they come out and talk about it, but they already got their goddamn money. They sold them to retail, and retail turns around and sells them to the consumer. That's how that goes.
You good, D?
You know what I mean?
All right, man. I'll talk to you guys. I gotta get
bro.
But here's the link to the show. I actually, those is a very informative show. But those
watch it. I heard.
Yeah, I had my suit and tie on. I was talking to that white man. I had my suit and tie on. Hey, white daddy. I was talking about white daddy. I had that suit on. You know what I mean? Next Jim was being professional. Hey, white daddy.
I mean, that was I don't know why people shipped and sold is two different things. No. Oh man, when them that's why Microsoft make them conventions and stuff. We had them all the retailer stores to show up to see what they're going to, because they're selling even before the Xbox One and the PS4. So every year they do have this convention where all the retailers come together and they see what's the next product that they're coming out, that they're putting in their stores. That's Microsoft and Sony selling their hardware to the retailer, saying, look, this is going to be a boom hit. And then the retailer say, okay, well, I want this many amount of numbers or this many amount of orders. And then however it goes from there, then they keep ordering that shit and they make their money.
Yeah.
So that's why they stopped buying Xboxes.
But no, like I said, it is what it is, man. I get called anything but a child of God, man. It don't make a difference. But this is the link. Very informative video. He really get into the numbers around the 20 some odd million mark, 20 million mark. But good show though, not say the least. And also too, I want to say this. For those guys that are saying that I'm just playing it up to the ponies and this, that, and the other, if you look at the decline and the dip in that chart, and if you go back, if you're rocking it, where I start really vocalizing my problems with Microsoft for the last 2.5 years, and even he said that the games that reflect it. You know what I mean? And we all know for the last 2.5 years, shit been diabetic on the Xbox side, and its sales overall it reflected. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He did say sell. He said games sell hardware pretty much.
Yeah. So,
and he pretty much say that Sony was on the ball in terms of the software side, and that's why they was outselling. And it's evident. That's why they was.
You know what I mean? But look at, like I say, men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. You know what I mean? But anyway, this is your boy Next Gen 720. We back later on tonight about 7:45, 8 o'clock with the multiplayer podcast. We out of here.
Yeah.